I'm Jason.
And this is Alex.
And this week we're talking about Two Worlds.
Why is it called Two Worlds?
Why is it called Two Worlds?
That's a good question. I never thought of that.
No, legitimately, there's one world.
The main bad guy talks about it near the end, right?
I think it comes more into play in the sequel.
There's no way they'd planned for the sequel when they made this game, though, right?
That's a good point.
So, Two Worlds. You play as blank. In fact, your character has no name through the entire... unless someone else found it, they never refer to you as your name. They're just Bounty Hunter.
Oh, no, brother.
Yes. I mean, that's as much as we know about him, right? He's got a sibling, and he's a bounty hunter. And he's a member of a guild, right?
I don't think he's a member of the guild. He's just from the same town where the guilds are from. So, he knows some of the people. I guess the main thing that you know about the character is he's a smarmy douche. Especially early on, he just acts like he's Captain Big Swinging Dick for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, no. He talks down to everyone.
It's awesome. I hope they did it on purpose, because that would give it so much more character, rather than it's just piss poor voice acting.
Which it is.
We'll get into that.
Alex, you want to start off with the story?
I'll try. I tried my best to understand what the fuck was going on and why we were here doing what we were doing. I know a lot of it revolves around this guy, Azarol. He's a god. Isn't he a god of war?
Dead god. Kind of.
Right, he is dead, because we're all looking for his tomb, but I thought he was some kind of god of war. I thought I heard that, and I thought...
I thought he was just an orc chieftain that they referred to him like a god.
No, definitely a god.
Oh.
Definitely a god who was, killed or something and entombed. Well, not killed, because you can't kill a god, but...
Deicide. Fuck yeah, you can.
Yeah. He was entombed and imprisoned and locked away. He was, this god of war that the orcs worshipped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the orcs are involved. He's a god of war, and his tomb is missing because it was hidden by the other gods. They didn't want it to be found. I think a lot of that had to do with that those other gods didn't trust mortals. I assume because of the incompetence of the world here. I mean, everybody seems to have no fucking clue what's happening. And, yeah, he's dead. They're trying to find him. All I got as far as he's concerned. Back at the present day, you got the orcs, your typical fantasy races, orcs, dwarves, faceless protagonists who are extremely douchey. And then the dwarves may or may not have stumbled upon his tomb, and that kind of piques the interest of the orcs. Yeah, the orcs kind of see him as like a divine leader. I think that's kind of the motivation behind trying to find him. Yeah, that's about all I got. The orcs are going to invade the kingdom of Cathalon, and then your character just shows up. Sister gets kidnapped. You gotta find her, figure out why she was taken, and then how it's linked to this guy.
So I like from the opening cutscene with Nameless Marmaduke and Tits McGee, your sister. And was she as pale for you two? She's glowing white for me.
Yeah, no, she lacked color at all.
I thought she was a witch because of that. She's got some kind of powers.
Yeah.
Inevitably, I first thought she was the undead.
I get that. I really do. But I like how you get a cutscene where homeboy goes off to take a piss, or he's trying to find a barn to sleep in for the night or something, and you're both riding the same horse because that's normal behavior. And then she's just suddenly off the horse, and then this guy shows up, and then they both disappear. And then it cuts to literally months later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No emotion, really, from your character other than, oh no, my sister's gone. And she's literally gone without a trace. She's gone. Poof, disappeared.
So this was my reading of that whole thing. Was she was pure white, so I thought she was the undead, and that crazy shadowy figure that showed up to get her was death. That you were attempting to outrun death.
That would have made sense.
And then the game started, and I was horribly wrong.
After having played it, I'm way more interested in that storyline. Let's do that.
So what is the first thing you do? You show up, what do you call it, when they're teaching you how to play the game?
Tutorial.
The tutorial quest. Yeah, you go into a church thing and kill some Groms.
Wait, you had a tutorial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have a tutorial.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
It's right there at the beginning.
No.
Where did you start then?
What's the first thing you did after your sister goes missing?
You stand there in a town.
That's not what happened for me.
No, you're not in a town. You're
in a chapel.
Yeah.
No.
So is your disc just missing that mission, and its programming is just gone?
I wouldn't be surprised considering the create a character.
Oh, right. I forgot. You get to customize your character.
Yeah.
They can't see the air quotes.
Yeah, the create a character, if you can call it that, with the 2 options that you get. My guy, his face hadn't settled, so it was still hopping back and forth between default and what I made at this point.
Mine too. Maybe at least for the first hour, I was running with the default character model, and then he kind of starts to fade in, it seems like.
I couldn't tell the difference, so
Yeah.
it really didn't matter, because I tried to make my guy look ridiculous so I could tell. It really didn't happen.
Well, what are some things you can customize?
Hair color,
Right.
which is shades of dirty blonde to light brown. Eye color, which there's about 1 pixel each, so
And really, who cares?
good luck seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can change your torso width and height,
Yeah, like body dimension, so...
which is perfectly normal.
yeah, if you want a 6-foot wide chest, why can't you have that option?
That's actually what I went for.
And,
maximum width on chest, minimum height, maximum length on arms.
So a gorilla.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess there's, you can customize facial structure a little bit, which I only know that from the online, where I maxed all the sliders, so my character looked like he has Down syndrome, which is hilarious. Also, his mouth is too fucked up, so, like, the speaking parts, his mouth doesn't actually move. He just looks like this weird monstrosity that's thinking at people.
That's a nice trick. That's a nice little power he's got. It's a passive ability.
So yeah, I started in whatever the first town that you come to. Like, I just, bam, right there.
That's really strange.
Yeah, so there's a tutorial in a chapel where you kill some groms and learn, like, how to attack, how to interact with objects.
How to dodge.
Yeah.
You can dodge?
How do you beat this game without dodging?
Tank my way through it?
That saved my ass so many times. That's something I was going to mention in the controls, is that basically my strategy from start to finish was attack them until I see their attack animation start, and then hit the dodge button, and they will never touch you.
My strategy for this game was dump all my points into strength to hit harder than they do, and then whatever's left, dump that into vitality, and then just carry potions and hope for the best. I ran headfirst at all problems.
Nope. I started as an archer, shooting arrows. That was pretty terrible, but that's where I started. And so as soon as an enemy gets near you, you just turn and run. Because you're faster than every enemy in the game. So turn, run, get distance, turn, fire, 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 turn, run. It takes a long time, but it is effective. And then I turned it into magic. I started dumping all my points into spells.
But you turned into magic?
Yes. I mean,
Wow.
your character is basically magic with all the, walls and stones that he can walk through. So then I tried magic. Magic was good up until the end of the game when it was stone useless.
So what are some of the spells you can do?
So they all have, there's 5 different types of magic. Air, water, fire, earth, and necromancy. They all have the basic,
That's not how you make Captain Planet.
I think it is. You got your, dart spells, where it's just firebolt, ice bolt, lightning bolt. You've got area of effect spells. Each one has different summons.
Do the different elements affect enemies differently? Are there weaknesses that you could notice?
Yes. Some enemies are immune to just entire types of spells. Some take extra damage from certain types. Mm-hmm. You're never told, so you just have to experiment.
Okay.
And find out that lava dragons cannot be damaged by fire.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's things like that. Undead take extra soul damage, but that's for weapons.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm intrigued by the magic, because it sounds like they actually put some effort into it.
Yeah.
There's some logic behind how it works.
That's why I said there's parts of this game that look actually thought out and developed. And it's a shame that those get buried by pasted on story and terrible controls.
Well, before we get to the controls, so the town that you start off in, there's a couple quests, and then you have a note to go talk to some hooded figure right outside of town, correct?
Yep.
God, what's that guy's name?
G something. He's the guy who helps you through.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I know it starts with a G.
I know when I saw him, I thought he was the main antagonist right away. He just looks like a villain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they all have that same, hooded figure with no face,
Right.
just blackness where their face should be. And it's like, this is a bad guy.
Well, even the good guys later in the game have that same look.
Yeah.
Just swap out black for white, and they still look menacing as all hell.
It's a good look.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I was tall...
So let's talk about the graphics then. All right, so we
Gandahar.
Gandalf.
Found it.
Graphics on this game, what do you think?
Technically there.
Okay, so the game was made in 2007 is when it came out. So they're not amazing, but like it is an older game. However, they're still not great for the time.
Yeah, my impression was early Xbox 360 would be almost too kind.
Yeah, I compared it to mid-late PlayStation 2 graphics. That is where I felt it was.
And it's constantly dropping frames. It's very laggy when you're walking anywhere.
Oh no, the lagging and loading.
Yeah.
We should talk about that, because the game will constantly load. Like, it'll freeze everything. You'll see a spinning disc in the corner, and then you wait for it to load. I've had it load every couple frames. Like, I turn and it loads. I take 2 steps forward, loads again.
Yeah, it's like the map clearly loads in grid. So, once you move from one box to the other, it suddenly has to render everything that's in front of you. Painfully slow.
Do you think that's a result of it not being optimized for consoles, since this was a PC game first?
That, legitimately, I think that it was entirely built for PC, and then they thought, we can get more money from consoles, and ported everything to the 360, and it's a disaster.
I mean, I've heard that it's better on PC, but I don't... After sitting through it on 360, I'll take their word for it.
Yeah, I was going to play it, but didn't have the time or wanted to buy it again.
Yeah, I mean, after I finished it on 360, I did go back and read a review of it on the PC.
Yeah.
And essentially, it's still a cobbled together mess, but it just runs better. All the issues we've mentioned so far, with more even still to come, are still sort of there. It just, the loading and the stuttering, it's just maybe alleviated a little bit. But other than that, it's still a shitty game if you play it on your computer or not.
So you talk to Gandahar, who tells you they've got your sister.
Yep. They kidnapped your sister because they need you for a quest.
Right. They need you, and he doesn't have that much information. You got to go talk to his boss up in this cave over here.
Yep.
And that was the man who I couldn't find. When I walked out there, he wasn't there. I walked around in circles, nothing. And I set the controller down, I looked it up online. While I was looking it up, pops in.
Yeah, so at that point, I did a ton of side quests, because that's how you play games? That's how I play games.
So you did it on purpose?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was trying to play this game like I wanted, was playing this game. Not like I was trying to speed clear it. Because this type of game is right up my alley. The Elder Scrolls series, Fallout series, old RPGs on the computer. Those are some of my favorite games. So, this should be right up my alley. So I was trying to play it just to play it.
Okay, I started with a couple side quests, and when I ran out, and I found a pack of boars, because boars were the first thing that I ran into, and the first one hit way too fucking hard for a first level enemy. And then suddenly there was 8 of them, and I was just fucking destroyed. And then I ran back after you spawn at the respawn points, which are sprinkled throughout the overly large map. Lost as hell, because I wasn't anywhere near where I used to be. And then I took a swing at one, and then I was immediately slaughtered. And do this for 20 minutes. After that, I stopped side questing, because I was done. Except for the horse. I did the horse side quest.
If you dodge, the boars aren't a problem.
Is that the, weird, awkward jump back thing?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Here's something fun about that. So, as I was headed on my way to the cave where Gandahar sends you to meet with his boss, Reist, I would jump. And when I would jump, I would hang in the air and then float off like a balloon on a calm summer's day. And then, when I get about 20 feet up, I would just drop and take a shit ton of damage.
Did you ever play The Elder Scrolls 4?
A little bit, yeah.
There's DLC mission where you go to Shivering Isles and Sheogorath is there, and if you hit him, he sends you way up into the air and just drops you. That's what that reminds me of. You just kind of make your way up, and then you fall and you take your damage.
Yeah. So, when I stumbled upon the weird, like, jump back thing that you do, I didn't come back down. I just hung in the air, frozen, until the enemies beat me to death.
You should have played the tutorial.
It sounded like way more of an adventure than mine.
Yeah, I know. We should have played this at your place.
As I was playing the game, all the weird bugs that I had, I was trying in my head to work it into the fiction. Just like there's got to be some reason why in this game, old boy just like floats off for a while. Or his face just randomly changes. Or he can't physically jump backward, or the world ends.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that need explained, like how death has no consequence.
That's true.
I found it way more efficient to just throw lives at things than to actually learn them most of the time.
Like it said, that was my playstyle. Like if something killed me, I would immediately charge right back at it and whittle it down a little bit until it killed me again. Yeah. And just wash, rinse, repeat until it stopped moving.
The enemies don't regenerate health.
Some do.
Some. That can heal. But
okay, I'm glad that you had that too. It wasn't just me.
Most of them don't. So, like, as long as you're near-ish one of the respawn points, you can just run in there, do as much damage as you can. They murder you, immediately respawn and run back.
Or get them to follow you to the respawn point where it just heals you constantly, and then just try and take the damage while you deal your own out.
I did that a whole lot more than I'd like to admit.
Oh, yeah. I used the magic points because I was a spellcaster. You just drag them all to there, and then you have infinite spells. So you just cast. Sit there and just mash the cast button.
Now I'm wishing I would have played with magic the whole time. That sounds fun.
I attempted spellcasting, although putting no points in willpower. I just had that first level firebolt, which is fucking garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So I would mostly use it to get people's attention because I didn't carry bow because that ain't me. I attempted a bow once, and then after you wait the painfully long time for you to draw the string back, which I don't understand, and then you let it fly and it does like 1 point of damage. Like what? Why though? Who? What sick bastard thought that was okay?
You might as well be throwing rocks at him.
They did do more damage.
So where were we? We go talk to Reist in the cave. So my first thought is I immediately attacked him because he had my sister. And then he stomped me into the ground in, I think, 1 hit. Because enemies hit way too hard in this game. But then it immediately respawns you right next to him. Like there's a spawn point next to him. So he stomps me into the ground, turns around, I respawn, he's walking towards me again, de-aggroed. So I just talked to him then. And he's like, oh, hey. And I'm like, you don't remember you just murdering me? Whatever. This is really awkward because you just killed me. And now I'm back.
Yeah, you can see my blood all over the wall over there.
It's still wet.
But he heals, so that was not a fight I was going to win. Because I thought about it.
So, does he give you your main quest here, or is it later where he's like, hey, go do a thing? Or does he just want to talk to you right here? And then Gandalf gives you the actual quest.
Yeah, he says that they need you for a quest and that they're going to look after your sister. You know, they're holding her captive until you agree to work with them. Once you agree, he says Gandahar has the details, and then you talk to Gandahar. He says, you need to find the relic of your family. So apparently your family lineage back in the old country, when I can't remember God's name. Azrael was sealed in his tomb. The key to the tomb was basically this relic that your family is the only people who can touch it?
Oh, right, because of the curse.
Yeah.
The curse that they don't define and just say that it's cursed?
Yeah.
The curse, yeah.
The curse. So, because of the curse, you have to be the one who finds and assembles this relic so they can open Azrael's tomb. Great. Your character firmly does not believe that any of this is, real.
Oh, yeah, he's flat out not having any of this bullshit.
He just straight up says, well, the relic's not real, Azrael's dead in a tomb, and that's it. That's the end of this.
It's at this point when you're talking to him here, and then immediately after, where I really started to like the character. Because as you go through the game, he does not give a shit about anything, with the exception of saving his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, he's still kind of half-assing it. But he just blatantly tells people he does not care.
I admire his confidence.
So, once you decide to go along with this, you now have the option to go confer with your sister at various points.
Yes, these magic stones.
Did you guys do this as you played through the game?
Yeah, as I found them.
I did the first one, and then I did the second and third one right before I beat the game.
Okay, so as soon as I saw that you could go talk to your sister, I immediately went to the first one, which opened up the second one, which I just made a beeline right for.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one right after that. So their dialogue, they're back and forth, talking about events that should be going on at whatever point you're in that area during the game. I had no idea what the hell they're talking about,
Yeah.
which is fine, because, like, looking back on it, I still wouldn't have a clue what the hell they were talking about.
No, it was good, because it made no sense to me either, because, like... I did the first one, and that made sense, because she's like, oh, you maybe should work with them, and you're like, I have a plan, but this is what it requires, and she's like, the curse is real, and you're like, meh. But then, so I basically had beat the game. I was right before the end game, I was like, oh, I should go see what those were about. So I go back and talk to her, and she's like, so how are things going? And I'm like, clearly you should know this. It was so weird. Because it was basically traveling backwards in the story.
Yeah, she's stuck back in the past.
I know I didn't do it in order.
Yeah.
I don't know what order there is as far as the quests go that you actually get to do them. I spent a lot of my time just wandering around the map. Instead of side questing, I was just looking for stuff to kill to grind out some levels, which worked swimmingly, I have to say. So the relic is split into 5 parts.
Yep, the main part and then 4 stones.
So the frame, earth, air, fire, and water.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm not doing another Captain Planet reference.
please. Can we cap that at 1? Thank you.
So, which one did you guys go after first?
I went after the main body.
The frame?
Yeah,
I did the same one, yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I forget.
So the frame is being held by the Karga clan up to the northwest of the map.
Yep.
They have it in there.
I didn't go to that one first. I know that.
Ah, okay.
Man,
Okay, because that one is by far the easiest.
Oh.
Really?
Yes.
So you come up to a gate, and there's a guy standing there who says that you can't enter. So I put a sword through his face.
I set him on fire.
What do you know? As soon as he drops, the door swings open. So you go inside and you talk to what you will learn is the Karga clan, who are happy to see you for some reason.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay.
Now, all of them ignore the fact that you just murked their, like, guard. They're just like, oh, hey, how's it going? And you're like, good?
The tone is just inconsistent throughout. It's like, these people should hate you. And they're like, hey, what's up, buddy? What are you here for?
I had accidentally done some side quests for them that I didn't know about. So I actually had a positive reputation with them already. So I walked in, they were all, oh, it's you. We've heard of you. You've come to help us. And I'm like, what is happening? Then you go, and the relic piece is in their, like, main stash, right? And it's locked. You can't get in. So you get to go try to talk to the leader. So...
Would he talk to you?
Yeah, he just immediately let me in. Because of the side quests, I had enough favor with the Karga clan that I walked in, they said, oh, come in right away. And he's like, I have a quest for you. And if you do it, you can have any item in our repository. Just one quest and done.
So for me, I go up and I talk. I can't even get in his door. I have to talk to his bodyguard who tells me to go get fucked. And then I can talk to their second in command. So I go to the second in command who tells me, oh, if you go do some quests for the glorious Karga clan, then you can speak to the leader. What I did instead was I made my way back to the beginning of the village and then systematically murdered every single person in there.
In that vein, continues this trend that I learned throughout the game that just killing everyone is actually a really efficient way to get things done.
Yeah, I mean, that was fairly early on for me, and that was a terrible lesson that I carried throughout the entire game. Why waste time side questing when murder solves your problem?
It does affect your endings, though, based on who you side with.
Oh, does it?
Yes. And that's not something I even realized until the end. You know, because I got my ending, I went online out of curiosity, looked at what you had to do, and I'm like, oh, I guess I got that ending. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and spoil it for anybody, not that anybody really cares, but the people you side with will impact your story further down the line.
Huh. Okay. How did you end up getting the frame?
Oh, you just... The same way you did, I just did it out of order.
Oh, okay.
So you go there, and I sided with the Karga clan. And then, yeah, you get the frame from them.
But did you do quests for them, or did you murder everyone too?
No, I didn't murder them. I went there and helped them out, because I didn't... I had that bad experience right at the beginning where I went into that town and started killing people and realized that there was some pretty serious consequences to doing that. So I kind of learned my lesson. I didn't really play the game like that at all throughout.
I actually got less bloodthirsty as the game went on.
Yeah.
Where I started in just full-on murder rampage.
I just want to get it done. And I realized that killing NPCs is probably not the best way to get there.
No, so I just did the quest. You are looking... There's a clan war going on. It's one of the subplots to this whole game. There's the Karga clan and I forget the name of the other clan. The other clan has a mine that they supposedly didn't tell the kingdom about, so they are mining gold that they aren't reporting. You're supposed to go find evidence of this. It's pretty easy. You go, you find the evidence in this guy's house, you bring it back. They're like, that was great! And then you get your item.
Yeah, it seems weird to me because the Karga clan townspeople were like talking to themselves about how they're rebels.
They're not.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I didn't give them the opportunity. I mean, like, the only person I talked to was the old merchant in town. And, like, I actually talked to him, and otherwise I didn't give a shit.
Yeah, they're like old clans that, used to run things before the kingdom kind of rounded everyone into a kingdom. And then now that they're a kingdom, they're still feuding with the other clan, and it kind of traditional clan war type stuff. I didn't delve too deeply into it. I accidentally did a couple quests for both clans until I pissed off the other clan by helping the Karga clan.
Sure.
Just because Karga clan had a thing I needed.
Let me think. The next one I got was way out of order, and I got the air relic.
So yeah, I got turned around for a while, wandered about the world for a while, and I tried to get the water one. And that, failed miserably for reasons that we'll talk about here in a bit. And then I ended up getting the fire one, actually, is the next one I got.
Damn.
Yeah. So this is where the lesson for me of kill 'em all just kind of started to pick up.
Yeah, sure.
Because the fire gem is in a city of orcs.
Mm-hmm.
In the very south, it is a stronghold of orcs.
That's where their invasion's coming from.
Yes.
Gorgamoth, I think.
As it turns out, you have two options. I never learned of option 2, where you can apparently get orc armor.
Yes.
Infiltrate?
In the capital city, you meet the requisition officer who's like getting armor and stuff ready for the troops trying to repel the orc invasion. And he tells you can get this super awesome orc skin, which they make, that'll make you look just like an orc, so you can sneak around behind enemy lines.
It's interesting. I would have liked to have known that. That's also where you talk to your sister, I think, for the last time. Isn't it down there, too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's the option that is stealthy and not violent, except that option is never really presented to you. They tell you, get the fire relic, and they tell you that the fire relic is in the orc stronghold.
It's Gorgamar, by the way.
Gorgamar. But they never... That's it. So you go to Gorgamar, and there's orcs there, and they try to kill you, so you kill them back. And then the door's just locked. And if you walk around the city, you can find a way in, and then all the orcs attack you, and you kill everyone, and you get a bunch of loot and a bunch of levels, and the relic, and you're like, wow, that went swimmingly.
So the fire one is the last one I got. So I was beefy as hell by the time I got down to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was just wave after wave of these poor bastards being slaughtered by me as I just walked nonchalantly through their city. And boy, did they try and stop me. And boy, did they fail.
I'm assuming you just cleared through them as well. You didn't stealth it up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't do the fire one until later. I think I did earth first. Earth or air. And then I know for a fact fire was the last one because that was the last time I spoke to Kira? Is that
Yes.
your sister's name? Yeah, and I remember thinking, oh, well, I guess I'm good. I've got the elements. Go, about my business. So, yeah, I want to say it was air, then earth, then fire. Man, I had no idea about that stupid orc camouflage shit, because that would have made things a lot easier.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go through all the trouble of side questing for those people when I knew I just wanted to murder everybody anyway. I think the only benefit that you would get is that you could wear the orc armor that you occasionally pick up that you can't wear because you're a stupid human.
Yeah. Which is amazing. Their armor is so different it cannot be worn.
Yeah, which is weird how human-like they are, but,
You can use their weapons. Can't wear their armor. The air one is the one in the dragon's nest?
Yep, air's in the dragon's nest.
So that one you literally walk in, take it, and leave.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I started to look for the dragon because I was feeling froggy, and I ran into a steel golem, and he put me right in my place.
Did you ever find the dragon?
No.
I didn't either.
Nope.
I found a lava dragon, which is right outside Gorgamar. I think there's a couple of them, but that's the only one I ever saw.
Yeah, and then there were some sand dragons in the desert.
Because there's eggs for the dragon, but I never actually saw one. And that was by the woods too, right? Like
the giant woods with all like mist. And it was.
Are they actually called the Lost Woods?
I don't remember.
That's what I call them.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Like in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, it's the Lost Woods now.
Well, because everything was on fire, I was thinking Izalith.
Yeah.
So that one, you just walk in, you get it, you leave. Earth. Earth was the last one I did because I didn't actually know how to get it.
Earth was the second one I got.
Yes. Me too. And not counting the frame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nope, I had no idea. So I went and did water as my third one, which is in the city of Athlon?
Ashos.
Ashos. No, I'm gonna get that
The
wrong.
incredibly racist city of Ashos.
Yeah, so they're Japanese-ish.
So you've got your typical like hovel buildings as you go, and it's like, I don't know, European inspired. Everything's like wood and kind of shitty, except for Cathalon, which is like stone but still kind of shitty.
I mean, it's clear fantasy setting, which often the architecture and the layout of stuff is very like old England.
Yeah.
Slash, French, German, mainland Europe type stuff. And then
fucking Ashos.
you are walking south, and there is bamboo everywhere.
Bamboo, which you can sometimes walk through and sometimes can't for no reason.
Yep. So bamboo forest, insect people who are aggro, and they're just an enemy. Just insect people.
The people aren't bad. The shaman ones kind of suck, but those fucking big ones are brutal.
Yeah, they're giant mantises. They kill you in like one hit.
I'm sorry. This game is just crazy.
So you go through this bamboo forest, and you're like, this is a sudden change of everything.
It's like, where are you now? It's like a whole different fucking... It's the second world.
Oh! Wow. Okay, so you get there, and they are
Drops by.
clearly Japanese inspired.
Yeah.
Isn't the one guy's name like Ho?
Yeah.
Like, he's just Ho.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's like Akamaji and other Japanese sounding names.
Faux Japanese.
And it's not that they're like fake Japanese that was what makes it racist. It's not the fact that there's literally no other race of human besides white people that makes it racist. What makes it racist is the stellar voice acting, where some people just speak normal English, which is perfectly acceptable, and some people do a terrible Asian accent.
I kind of take offense at you saying normal English, because it's not. Like, it's forced ye old English.
Okay, you're absolutely right. But it's like they throw in a verily and some ye old shit about 15% of the time. Whereas, like, they would typically speak normal. And some characters certainly do it more than others, but as a whole.
Well met, forsooth, verily. That's about how you can sum up the dialogue.
But it's just the terrible Asian accent, which I had to stop because I was laughing so hard, because I can't believe that made it in the game. Like, who's the person that thought that was okay?
No, it was clear that, and I believe I've read this, that they didn't hire voice actors.
I was gonna ask.
The developers and everyone in-house did the voices.
Did they just run out of money, or was this just like a budget title from the beginning?
I don't know. I really don't. But it would be weird if they had actually hired professional voice actors and that was the voices they ended up with.
Yeah, those aren't pros.
It's real bad.
There's no way.
So this was the city where I walked up to a door and tried to open it, and it opened, and then the guards came running over. So, because it turns out I had apparently picked the lock on the door.
That happened to me more than once.
Without realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
The guard runs up and demands 50,000 gold pieces.
Damn.
Is that just the number he came up with? Like, where does that come from?
Oh, apparently. I have no idea. So
that's your bribe.
Yeah, no, so that's for the city. So I say 10% of that, I'll give it to you, and you can look the other way. 5,000 gold. I can do that. That's no problem. To be fair, I could have paid the 50,000. At this point in the game, I think I have nearly 100,000 gold.
Oh yeah, the money's meaningless in this game.
Yeah.
Because every merchant has infinite dollars at all times. So collect everything, sell it all, get rich. So I'm trying to, bribe him. I tried to bribe him once, and the immediate response from him is, "You do not respect us or our culture," pulls his katana out and tries to kill me. So, naturally, I run away. I'm like, I ain't doing this. Maybe he'll calm down. So I run, I leave. They never de-aggro. So I actually tried to do the water one first. I then went and killed all the orcs, got the air dragon one, came back. As soon as I got near the city, the guards started charging me, katanas raised.
Damn.
So, since I had already killed all the orcs, I was actually pretty high leveled, and I wiped their city out. I killed every single one of them, and looted every container, and I was rich as a sultan afterwards. I leveled up so many times, I had like a level 50 katana, which so about the you can combine items thing, how long did it take for you to figure that out?
I didn't realize that until you mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Because of the stunning tutorial that doesn't exist.
Yes.
That wasn't in the tutorial.
Not in the
I
tutorial
wouldn't
at
know
all.
because I didn't get it.
So as it turns out, in the game, if you have two items of the same name, you can combine them to make them better. They have a whole class. It's class 1, class 2 after you combine 2, class 3, blah, blah, blah.
Wow. Surprisingly deep.
I really like that system.
Even though it's shallow, it's surprisingly deep.
I just think it's really cool. You can get all of your dupes and use what you got and buff it up.
Yeah.
Like, what could be by a lot. Because I'm sure that rank 50 katana you had by the end of it was balling as hell.
Yeah, so I don't know how much damage your weapons were doing.
I had a sword that I was using that was fire, which my strength was retarded.
Well, like what the number was? Do you know at all?
No, not offhand. I couldn't tell you.
Because my katana was like, I think the low end damage was 3,000. It was like 3,000 to 5,000 plus 2,000. I think I put cold damage on it. Hence why I switched to a sword at endgame. That katana cut through things. So yeah,
Might as well, yeah.
I ended up with a weapon that killed anything it touched basically in 2 hits, and I got that from just killing everyone. So why isn't that just the way to go about things?
I mean, that was my game.
But, well, as it turns out, me killing everyone didn't actually matter in the end, because when you get that water element, you walk outside, and the city's destroyed.
Okay, I get to the city, and I'm actually good with these people, and I do a couple of the side quests for them where the mayor wants you to go do a thing. Well, you talk to a lady whose brother wants to have her killed, and you go talk to the brother. He's a blacksmith. He wants you to off his sister because his father died, left her the forge, and he wants it, and whiny, bitch, whatever. So you go talk to the sister. Sister's like, yeah, he's fucking crazy. Fuck that guy. So I just went back and killed him. But I had the deed to the forge, so I went and turned it into the mayor for her, who sends you on another quest to go get medicine from the old witch that lives outside of town in the bamboo forest, who in turn sends you on another goddamn quest because it's never-ending bullshit. So anyway, you get done with all that. Turns out the mayor's a werewolf. He's been eating people. Oops. And then I went back, I murdered the blacksmith. He had the key to the temple, so I go in there.
You probably won't need him later for anything, right? Blacksmith, not important.
No, unimportant.
No.
But because I'd spent a lot of time before I grabbed it, like, I was fairly invested in this town. And the people, they tell you that the, what is it? They don't call it water relic. They call it the
Eye of something?
Eye of Yathalon. The Eye of Yathalon. Did you do any of the side quests in there? How did you go through Ashios?
No, I just hauled ass through it, man. I didn't waste time, I'm telling you.
Yeah, so I get in there, I sneak into the temple. Well, that's not really sneak when you got the key, so I just walk right through the front door.
How many times can you do that, by the way, in this game? I mean, think about it. The amount of times you're able to... You're given the choice of sneak through or not, and it's like there's just no consequences of going through here with no regard to anything. He mentioned it earlier, death doesn't even have consequences.
No.
So why even bother giving you choices if it doesn't really make a difference? And I that's kind of the question I kept asking myself playing this game. Is there are a few choices, but ultimately you just come to the same endpoint anyway.
Yeah, which I had a gripe with, which we can get to at the ending. But, so, I'm doing quests for these people. I grab the eye, which everyone in the town, because you keep asking people, you're out on the frontier, how come you haven't been killed by orcs? And they're like, well, they're afraid of the Eye of Yathalon. That's the only thing that keeps them at bay.
That's right.
So you go down there with those fuck-awful snake people that guard it, and you take the eye, and when you come back, because everyone wasn't dead for me, orcs had sacked the city and were just, like, stabbing corpses and generally causing chaos.
So, I've already mentioned this to you, but when I got in, I took the eye. Everyone was already dead. I come out, and there's a bunch of orcs with brooms sweeping the streets.
How do I not remember this?
They're quite literally orcs with brooms just kind of sweeping because everyone was already dead when they got there.
Oh my god. So that means basically every single person in this game is essentially an NPC. If you kill them, they don't come back.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Everyone you can just kill, and then they're gone forever. And except for you. You're immortal.
So basically by the end of your playthroughs, are you the only person inhabiting the two worlds? I guess without spoiling the ending, because we're not there yet, but I'm saying, like, since you kill everybody, right? Who was left?
Well, now, I started on just murdering.
Okay.
But as the game went on, I stopped. Because while murder gets you through the story, there were times where, I wanted to sell stuff, so I couldn't murder everyone. And like, say, Cathalon, where there's a shit ton of merchants.
No, I didn't kill everyone. Just as soon as they started disagreeing with me or trying to charge me money for things I didn't want them to charge me money for, or...
Just like real life.
Yeah, just... They looked at me wrong. I didn't like their character model. It's little things like that.
Oh, okay. Character models. Let's just get this fucking out there.
The all 5 of them that exist?
Yeah. How many merchants did you talk to? And by merchants talk to, I don't mean names. I mean, how many different faces did they have?
Well, you've got Guy in robes, and right. That's probably about 50% of them.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Guy who is with company? What do they call it? Something like that.
Oh, the Merchant Guild?
Yeah, the Guild. The guy who's with the Guild, that's probably another 25% of them. Because they all
the
the
finer robes?
Yeah. Yeah, so like 4, 5?
I was going to say less than 5.
3. 3 is how many I ran into. Robes, Merchant Guild, finer robes, all of whom have the same face. And then a guy in just like shitty brown clothes with the same face as the merchant guy.
What about the mouth flaps? Did they ever match for you?
So, very beginning of the game, when people talk, their mouths look like horrific toothy anuses. And it gets better like 5 minutes later. Like, I don't know who rendered...
Town number 1?
Yeah, just that opening visual monstrosity. It's so terrible. And it got better. And sometimes their mouths would move, and sometimes it wouldn't. For the most part, I'll give it that. It synced up.
It basically never did for me. People would say things, their mouth maybe would move, maybe wouldn't. Then it would cut to me, and I was wearing a full helmet, so you couldn't see my horrific face, which was great. So then, you just hear sounds coming from me, switch back to them. Mouth doesn't move at all, but you hear a ton of words, so I assume they're just projecting it into my mind.
More than a few times when I would speak to somebody, it would kind of go into that sort of different camera angle when you're talking conversation. The person I would be speaking to would be staying perpendicular to me. They'd be looking out this way, to my left, and I'm facing them. And they're just kind of talking out over here like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? It's like, hey man, I'm right in front of you. And it's just, it was awesome. It was so bad, it was awesome. I don't know what the hell what would even cause that shit? I heard it was, some of the combat, since it was so fucked up, it caused other glitches. So I'm wondering if maybe that was the cause here. But either way, it was awesome. That's all I can say. So sloppy.
Where were we?
So that gets us through the water element, where you come out, orcs attack the town. So last is Earth, which is the one I hit last. And who points you towards it? At any point, who points you towards the Earth element?
Was it Whitehead?
Well, that was the quest.
Oh.
It's Ho.
Is it Ho?
Because Gandahar sends you to Ho for more information on the relics. And he tells you, he doesn't know exactly where it is, but it's somewhere near the village of Windbreak.
Great name.
Yes.
They break wind there all the time.
That's good, because Ho didn't tell me that. So at no point did Get the Earth Relic ever show up in my quest log.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At no point. And so I'm just wandering around where do I get this? And then eventually I just had to look it up because I was I'm tired of sacking towns and not finding anything.
So how did you get it to work finally?
I just looked up where it was online, went there and got it.
Oh.
Where I ran into Whitehead and he was all like, I am Whitehead the orc, and then I killed him. And then a bunch of more orcs showed up and I killed all them. And then I took the thing.
Shit ton of skeletons too, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the few side quests that I actively went through, where you're in the town of Windbreak, and there's the military captain who asks about his caravan that was escorting Whitehead back to Capelon. And then you're like, nah, they're all dead. Like, there's a bunch of soldiers' corpses and an overturned caravan and some orc corpses, and none of them had a Whitehead. You're dumb. And you guys, military captain, it's like, oh no, this Whitehead got away. But then he goes on about how he has such a murder boner for this orc. And like, in their interaction, I really did enjoy, because he's like, oh, he's a tremendous fighter and I want to go capture him, but our last battle I got all sorts of torn up. But I think he's over here in the King's Barrow. Go check that shit out. So you go over there, which is where the Earth Relic is. You head on over there. Whitehead's just hanging out near the front of it. And for me, because I talked to him and didn't just immediately kill him.
I talked to him. He said something about the captain, something. I want to fight that guy. And I had two options. Either I'll go talk to the captain or I'm going to kill you now. And I was like, I'm tired of this. So I just killed him.
Yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally go deliver the message that you two are going to go bone in a graveyard or somewhere, whatever the hell it is that they do. At this point, I had the personal teleportation that you get from your friend right outside the first village that you start in. So I literally dropped that at Whitehead's feet, teleport back to the town that the captain is, walk the 10 feet away from it that he is, told him that, and then teleported right back to him to save all that god-awful walking, because it's a far piece out there from the town.
Because the map is far too large.
Oh, yeah. And so you go and tell him, hey, he's down to fight, just give him a day to recoup. The mages are doing what they can. He's all in. He's like, okay, great. Go through the cave. Anything that you want that we haven't looted, it's all you. We're out. So I didn't have any orcs in there. I just had dumbass useless skeletons that fell beneath my fiery blade.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of orcs if you just go that route.
You mentioned dropping items. Did you ever drop something and actually have it still be there when you came back?
Yes.
Because I didn't. If I put something on the ground, it was gone.
Dropping items? No, they would despawn.
Yeah.
But corpses never went away. Like, I would come back to places, I had killed things at the very beginning of the game.
The chapel.
Their corpses were still there if I hadn't looted them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, I guess. But as soon as you loot something and leave, the corpse disappears. So, because I would run out of inventory space, there's entire areas that are just covered in corpses still.
And then that's not good for the game.
Probably not.
No.
It's probably why by the end of the game it was struggle busting so hard.
So, God, even about a quarter of the way through the game, because I was dumping so many points into strength, inventory space wasn't that big a deal for me.
No. I mean, I had what I liked, and that was all I had, really.
Yeah, my carrying capacity was over 300, like, by the time I hit the end of the game. So, like, I would just go through and just loot everything. And by the time I was full, I had a bunch of shit, so I'd use a teleport stone to go back to somewhere, sell all the crap, and come right back.
How high of a level did you get to before you beat it?
I was around 50, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I want to say it was like 41, 42. And I felt like I was a little under-leveled, so I kind of wanted to get your opinions on that. You know, at least in my experience, it didn't do a great job of telling you, you know, how strong you're supposed to be here, you know. So I felt like I was under-leveled in the low 40s.
That's about where I was.
And you didn't have any problems with the end?
With one of the end.
Okay.
So, talk about that, because we're actually getting pretty close.
I believe at this point...
You have all the gems and the relic stick.
Yep.
So you go talk to Gandahar again, because you meet outside of... Quidnahar.
My God, how can you remember all these fucking names?
And you're meeting there because the Quidnahar Forge is supposedly super hot and strong enough to melt the relic if you cast it into the forge.
Hey, the Shaq-Fu cat lady's name was Kaori. I know you don't remember that.
So, you're basically holding the relic ransom for your sister. You say, we'll meet here, and I'll give you the relic, and you'll give me my sister, but you have to give me my sister or I'll cast it in the forge and destroy it.
Never heard that before.
That's your game plan.
Could there be anything you could possibly think of where you gotta throw something into an extremely hot forge type area and have to destroy something?
Nope, not a thing.
Nothing? Okay.
That's never been used in the history of media.
Totally original.
So, you're going to have to actually explain how this whole interaction goes down. Cause.
Okay. Did it fuck up for you too, Alex?
Not that I can remember.
Okay. So, you show up. You threaten to drop the relic into the forge if they don't give you your sister. Your apathetic hero is like, look, I just want my sister. We're going to leave. I don't give a shit about your old god or whatever. You guys do whatever the fuck you want to do. Here's this thing we're at. God, what's his name? Gandahar is like, hey, yeah, that's cool, fine, whatever. Just give me it. Bryce is all like, yeah, give me the relic. You put it down. You start to walk away. Then the betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
Big surprise. The bad guys fuck you over. Through soliloquy, Gandahar is revealed to be the main bad guy. Alex, like you had said, you called that one.
Shocking.
Which was a turn that I enjoyed because up to that point, Gandahar isn't really your friend, but he's also not really your enemy. Like I work for Rice.
Was he ever a friend? Like, could you ever really count him as such? I mean, yeah, he kind of points you in the right direction, but it's usually, if you think back on it, it's kind of for his own personal reason.
Oh, absolutely.
So I wouldn't call him a friend.
But he tells you, like, you can leave with your sister. I care about your sister for his own reasons that he doesn't go into, which makes sense right here. But it's like, what you guys do after we get the relic is your own business. It's whatever. So you get the relic. There's a flash. Your character is stunned and maybe dying. You get a cutscene with you and your sister Elvira standing uncomfortably close, where she slowly fades out of existence. And then you wake up in the street with a new guy talking to you who shows up out of nowhere. Now, new guy is the same model as Gandahar and Rice, just white instead of black. His name is Baylor. Did you guys run into any of his people in any of the other towns? Because they're littered all over.
Nope.
You can go up and talk to them, and their name comes up as stranger, and they give you some like weird cryptic bullshit, and that's all they say.
No. Nothing.
I want to say maybe it just didn't register to me as important. You know, just stranger. Okay, bye. But I didn't. No, I don't recall ever meeting anyone like that.
The only reason I talk to any of them is just because their character model looks like the bad guy's only white instead of black. So I thought up to this point they might be like agents of them. Like, hey, you got some news for me? No, they just have cryptic bullshit. So Baylor tells you his plan, which was to follow you to get to Gandahar, who they know is the real bad guy. And your character rightfully points out, hey, if you were after them, why didn't you follow them? And Baylor is like, yeah, that was a mistake on our part. No fucking shit.
Which, to point out, Gandahar has been standing outside of the main city for going on a couple weeks now in a shack. Because I went and he immediately, after you talk to him about getting the relic, he goes to whatever.
Right outside Quidnahar, yep.
Yeah. And he's there the whole time. So you'd think that these other people would realize the bad guy is camping outside the main city the entire time you're questing.
They can see him. Yeah, he's over there.
Right there.
He's over there having lunch.
I assume he comes into the city to buy, like, groceries.
Yep.
So Baylor tells you that, oops, we fucked up, and suddenly there's a giant flaming star in the sky, which they say is a pentagram.
It's a pentagram, supposed to be, yeah.
Doesn't a pentagram have to be a star in a circle? Because otherwise it's just a star.
Pentagram, I just thought meant 5 points.
Oh, I don't know. If only we had some way to validate that.
I don't know.
Anyway. So there's a giant flaming star in the sky. And the only way to take it down, because where Gandahar and Rice are now is surrounded by powerful magics that you can't possibly penetrate until you take out the star in the sky. And to do so, you have to visit one of the 5 black towers. Now, I went through all of them. I believe you did as well, Jason?
Nope.
No? Alex, did you go through all of them?
Sorry, I was looking at what a pentagram is. It's the shape of a 5-pointed star drawn with 5 straight strokes. Nothing about a circle.
So, yeah, it is a pentagram.
Damn it.
No, I went through, I think, 3 of the towers before I was just like, I'm done. Because I had 3 of them already, I already had the teleporters near them activated, and I didn't feel like walking to the other ones, because...
Yeah, they ain't close to shit.
Getting everywhere in this game is a terrible nuisance.
Unless you have a horse.
No.
You know what? Yeah, let's talk about the horses for a second.
Stuck on every fucking thing.
The horse riding, you hop on a horse, and that is all the goddamn control you get. Now, you can sometimes control the speed. and this was my experience, so please feel free to hop in at any point, gentlemen, where I would pick a direction, and the horse would tell me no, and then would run off in another direction at whatever fucking speed it wanted to go at. And I thought sometimes I was getting the hang of it, and the first time I hopped on a horse, I thought, oh boy, I'm getting the hang of this, right? And the horse takes me to this town that's filled with glacier orcs, which are way too fucking strong for me. The horse just runs right in the middle of them, and then I dismount, and I'm immediately fucking murdered. So the horse just wanted to be with his glacial orc people. Good for fucking him. And I rode a horse one other time when I was just fucking around the map, and I let the horse take me wherever it was going to go. Because up till then, before the horse took me to Murder City with all the fucking orcs, it would just climb up on a rock that it was physically unable to get down from, or it would run up a hill, find that it was a cliff, but also wouldn't be able to go back down the hill because it was too steep, or it would just get stuck on random things.
Yep. Smallest rock. Forget about it. You get stuck.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the horse was actually the first reason I ever had to turn cheats on. Because we were running at the breakneck speed of, oh goodness, so I was just tearing through the countryside. Everything was a blur, and it was horrifying. I eventually got the horse to stop, like half in a rock, half not. So I dismounted into the rock, and that was my life now. I had become Rockman. So I turned on the cheats, teleported myself out of there, and was like, well, that was great. I don't get any achievements anymore, because otherwise the game was over. I was a rock now, because I couldn't move. So I ended up using the teleport cheat, I think 3 or 4 times through the game, when I got into positions where I couldn't physically move. Yeah.
What are some other cheats? Because I didn't mess with those at all. You didn't either, did you?
I used, it's a cheat, but it's not, it spawns a bonus item, which is a sword that I used a couple times. Otherwise, I dropped it, and I was using, I just had a 2-handed sword that I've been boosting with flame gems.
There was a few bonus item codes, which were like promotional codes. They weren't considered cheats, so they wouldn't turn off your achievements because they were promos. The jump to, which is teleport to wherever your cursor is how it's described, because this game was designed for the computer. So by the way, teleport to where your cursor is actually just the middle of your screen, so you have to angle your camera, otherwise you'll teleport yourself into somewhere else that doesn't exist. It was interesting, because I tried to turn on no clipping, and that didn't work either, because you can actually access the full range of console commands through the type line.
That is shocking to me.
So at the end of the game, once I had beaten the game and everything, I actually hooked my keyboard up to my 360 and just started plowing through some of the console commands and doing zany stuff.
Really?
Yeah, you could turn your character's speed up to, like, faster than a horse. So you just sprint across the entire map. It makes the game way, way more interesting.
God damn.
When you move too fast to know where you're going.
Yeah, like, you hit left on accident, you just end up in a completely different city.
You don't see cheats like that anymore.
Yeah, so you can just change some of the physics of the world. As it turns out, it's way better. In the console commands, you can turn off all shadows, and you can turn off all the grass.
I bet it runs better.
Yeah, it runs so much nicer with those turned off, because it looks like dirt, but...
Well, it doesn't look great anyway,
yeah,
even with the grass and shadows.
But with all that turned off, it definitely noticeably runs better.
Do those affect achievements?
Yeah, I believe so.
So, you find one of the towers, which is necromancers at the bottom with some like undead bullshit, and then there's a stone that you teleport. It just takes you right to the top of the tower, and there's one a harder enemy up there who drops a badass flaming sword.
Sure. I mean, the sword was way worse than my katana, so I just didn't even bother looting them.
No, it was good for me.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have the katana of an entire city coupled together.
This katana's made out of thousands of fragments of other katanas. Somehow that makes it better.
It's not going to shatter on one hit.
Right.
No, it's extra strong.
It's taped together.
It's all duct tape and bone from all the people you had to loot it from.
But no, I actually forgot to mention when we were talking about glitches and stuff, because the reason I had you explain the whole section of the game where you get your sister back is because it didn't happen for me. So I talked to I forget his name again already. Gandahar. Sure. And I said, I have the relic and all the elemental stones. Cue immediately, my character vanishes, just like vanishes. The background changes to the city. My character reappears, and Baylor is there, except Baylor's character model is not that of like the white version of the other guys. It is pure white. So there's no deciding features. He is a white glowing outline. And so I assume I'm dead and he's God.
Like he's missing all texture whatsoever.
Yes. He is pure white.
Wow.
And glowing. And he's like, we were trying to stop Gandahar. So I am assuming this man is God. And he's talking to me now that I am dead and he's going to send me back to finish what I started, I guess. I then am teleported again back into the city and just everything is messed up. And I'm like, I wonder what happened.
Messed up how?
Just there were no walls that I could see. They were still there. So I would just like try to move and then just walls.
And are you cheating at this point?
Oh, yes, I had activated them to use the teleport cheat because I kept getting stuck in stuff.
I wonder if there's a correlation.
It might have been, because it was a disaster.
Wow.
So I saved the game, turned it off, booted it back up, and everything loaded fine. So I have no idea what happened there, or what... So then I went into the Necromancer quest, not actually knowing that I had been betrayed, because I missed that whole section. So you take out the Necromancer, you take out the 5-pointed star, which allows you to go to this city that's filled with undead.
Yeah, and I don't know about you guys, but as I made my way towards the city, I teleported to Cathalon and then hoofed it from there, as that was the closest teleport for me. And then I took out the last tower that's right in front of it. The city that's shaped like a star.
Yeah.
Pentagram?
No, it's got to be 5 unbroken lines, right?
No, actually. 5.
God damn it!
God damn, how many times do I have to explain to you?
So, the Pentagram City.
Let me look it up again.
Yeah, so I made my way to Penta City.
Yeah.
And the game stuttered and froze and crashed every 5 minutes at this point for me. So every time I killed an enemy, I had to save it, because 3 steps later, it'd crash on me.
Yeah, I mean, it happened to me more and more the further we went into the game. Yeah, it's got some serious issues there. Pentagram, by the way, 5 straight strokes.
Yeah.
To say if they're connected or not.
Okay.
God damn it.
So that'd have to be unbroken to form a star shape, which the city's not, because it's just buildings in the shape of a star.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Sure. Anyway, so you go to this city, and it's a bunch of undead. They're some of the strongest enemies in the game.
Yeah.
Kill them all. It's whatever.
Not impressed.
Yeah. So you get to rice cakes, whatever you call them. And he is the actual lackey. He presented himself as the big bad, but he's the secret lackey. Surprise. Which I was,
Which was a surprise for
Yeah,
me.
it was. I was like, oh.
Spoilers.
Here's the... Look, if anyone is still listening and is worried about spoilers, skip to who knows what time, and we'll deal with it later.
Just don't hurt yourself. We're not going to bother.
So you talk to Reese Rice, and he says that he's here to stop you from getting in. You're like, I'm getting my sister, and then he hulks out and turns into a demon.
Yeah, he does.
The grand enemy, I think is what they call it, right?
Something like that, yeah. So I run up and stab him with my super sword. It does a tiny sliver of damage, and he punches me into the dirt. I was like, wow, that was good. So I respawn because death is meaningless,
right.
Just like everything in this game.
It's still good. It's still good.
Just a little airborne.
So I run back, and at this point, I had learned necromancy magic, and I had killed 3 or 4 towers worth of necromancers. So I had one spell that was like level 50, and it just did some absurd, like 20,000 poison damage. So I would point at him, fire, his bar would turn green, and then I'd just run in circles until the poison slowly killed him.
Man.
That was it. That was the whole game.
When you died, did his health regenerate for you?
I don't know. I only died the once.
It did a portion.
Okay. Yeah, he regenerated, but it wasn't ever all the way.
No.
I probably spent maybe, I don't know, like 8 or 9 attempts trying to kill this guy.
Me too.
And I noticed it would go up, but it wouldn't go up all the way. So I was wondering if maybe it was supposed to do that. I kind of found myself asking, what kind of game are they actually trying to make here? You know, they got to make some decisions and stick to them. You know, especially with the specifically. Go ahead.
So for me, when I came up to him, he Reese's Pieces, talks some shit, hulks out. Yeah, the first thing he does is punches me right into the ground like I'm a goddamn spike. And I come right back, and what took me so long is I was trying different ways to murder his face. So, like, I would try spells. Like, oh, he looks like he's made of fire, so I tried throwing water bolts at him, which, since I put no points into willpower or anything as far as magic goes, did absolutely nothing. I would also summon in some octogrons that whatever summon spell I picked up along the way, just as a distraction, who would do no damage to him and then die in one hit like I would. I was also trying to cast Iron Skin on myself, which had no bearing whatsoever.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah, so eventually I had to just hit him, dance around, wait for him to strike. I would just move out of the way and then continue to lay the punishment and dance in a circle till I finally whittled him down and he died.
And my strategy entailed run up to him, hit him, get killed, run back. And then I kind of did that a few times until I realized, hey, maybe I could just run around. Because I didn't think this game would be as sophisticated as some of like the Souls games where you fight bosses like this. You know, you just run in a circle. And that ultimately did the trick. Just kind of whittle them down as much as you can around the circles.
Poison and flee. Poison and flee.
I wish I would have thought of that.
Eventually he just dies. Which was great because he died like nowhere near me. Like, I had run behind a building, and then he didn't come around the corner, so I went back around, and he was just laying there dead. And I was like, poison!
Did you die fighting him at all? Did you?
Once, yeah.
He died once.
I ran up, I tried to stab him, and he punched me straight into the dirt.
Right, okay. And then you tried to poison him.
Yep.
Because I wonder if you poison him, die, and come back, would he still be poisoned?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Or would he just be dead when you got there from the poison? Like, he died waiting for you?
So, because... like, it's a cutscene that triggers when you talk to him, when you get so close to him. So what happens if you're far enough back that you can just hit him in a range?
I have no idea. That actually would be amusing to try. I wonder if I still have a save.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's a lot to play through to get to that point, though.
Oh, man. Oh, well.
Alex vigorously shaking his head.
No. It's not worth satisfying my curiosity.
So that takes you to the final fight.
Yeah, end boss. You walk in, and Gandahar is there, and he starts explaining his grand plan because, you know, monologue, gotta wrap everything up.
The villain's got a villain. Let him talk.
Let him go. His grand plan really confused me and made no sense.
Do you have this written down by chance, Alex?
What?
His bullshit that he starts spewing at you about the only time Two Worlds ever comes up, which still doesn't really make sense.
No.
Okay, so from what I got from it is there's like beings outside the world, and they were trying to enter the world, but...
So we're talking like alternate dimensions, basically, here.
Yeah, and they failed because the world is protected by gods. They tried again, which their second attempt resulted in the taint, which is what everyone...
Tee. So are these the same gods then who hid the tomb of...
Yes.
What's the
Azrael.
Yeah.
So it's the same gods that do that. So Gandahar is attempting to resurrect Azrael as a basically follower of the people who are trying to enter your world. Because instead of having the gods oppose, if he can get a god or gods on the side of the people trying to enter the world, then they can maybe like take down the magic barrier that protects this world and
leave open that back door.
Yeah, get into your world.
But then what?
I don't.
They want to kill everybody? I mean, what's the goal?
No idea. None. That's it, to get in.
Like you just mentioned, the taint, which comes up at various times through the game,
yeah,
but no one ever bothers to explain it, except for right at the end here. So I'm actually not going to go any further with that.
I just wonder if it's like they're kind of hinting at, oh, well, the Earth is poisoned, or if it's even Earth. The planet is poisoned. It's the taint, and it's coming from somewhere.
Yeah. I had thought, and I was only half paying attention at this point because I knew the end was in sight. Sweet Christ, the end was in sight. He wants to bring back Azeroth to help stop the people coming in. That's what I thought.
No, I'm pretty sure he wants the people to come in. That's who he's actually working for.
Ah, okay.
And he wants one of the gods on their side. Because the gods are the ones preventing them from coming in.
Azeroth's like the ultimate goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you get a super disappointing fight with Gandahar.
Well, it depends on your choice. So you are then presented with a choice.
Yeah.
You can either join him and potentially be resurrected as God, is what he says he'll do for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can say, to heck with that, I'm gonna kill you. So naturally I went with, to heck with that, I'm gonna kill you. Because why would I help this guy?
And from what I've read is that ultimately your choice doesn't matter. You had to fight him anyway.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, I didn't side with him. I also fought him for the good ending. And what I just read is that you still kind of end up going against it.
Well, yeah. So I did both of them. I
Okay.
did the one where you tell him to go fuck himself first.
Mm-hmm.
where he hops down and you fight. Like, that's it. He pulls out his big flaming sword. By big, I mean it's a regular flaming sword. And you fight. I don't know how it was for you guys. I killed him in 2 hits.
I put him down easily.
Yeah, it was like a normal enemy for me.
He was a joke.
Yeah.
He was a guy.
Yeah, the fight before him was so much tougher.
Yeah.
And
That-
should have been the final fight.
That's the final boss as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. And then you get your sister back, and there's a short cutscene, I think.
Yeah. So, what was the cutscene for you?
I legitimately don't.
I went back to the main menu, the end.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
I didn't see anything after I beat him.
For me, it's you and your sister on horseback again, like right at the beginning of the game.
Like how it starts.
Yeah, only instead of stopping, you keep going. And your guy's like, oh, that was weird. And she's like, oh, we're almost there, brother. And like, you guys just ride off.
Where are we going?
I don't know.
To Two Worlds 2!
They do that. Hit the credits. Fucking, we're done. Game goddamn over. And then it hops right back to the main menu.
My game took me right to the main menu. And I didn't see them riding off into the sunset. I would have at least appreciated that. And I thought maybe I had fucked up. So, wow. They kind of treat it like the whole game up to that point was just a side quest on to wherever they're actually going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that?
I mean,
Yep.
Oh my god.
Since it puts you right back at the main menu, since I'd saved it right before I went into the door, I immediately loaded right back into it and then went with the other choice, which was, fuck yes, let's be gods. So when you do that, as soon as you tell Gandahar yes, Baelor and his cronies show up. And they're like, no, you fool! And then the fight begins.
So you fight Baelor.
You fight Baelor and his lackeys.
What about Gandahar? Is he fighting with you, or is
No,
he just?
he's standing up watching you fight his fight like an asshole. So, his lackeys go down easy, right? Baelor's goons don't take a hit. They hit moderately hard, but not harder than, like, the golems that are literally right outside the door where you are. Baelor, though, is a tough fucking fight. That dude brings it. He throws a bunch of shit at you and he fucking heals himself, and it really feels like you have to earn that victory, unlike Gandahar, who you just put in his place like the bitch he is. The cutscene you then get is Gandahar, you, and your sister standing on top of this weird cross thing as the camera slowly pans around you, because you're gods now, I guess. And then it zooms in on your sister's face, who I think is supposed to look sad about the choice that you made, but she looks slightly irritated and inconvenienced.
She's judging you.
It really feels like that.
Oh my god.
Like, you're up on this giant thing with no way to get back down, and it just looks like she's thinking, how the fuck am I going to get down from here?
What did I get myself into with these idiots?
And then, hard cut to the credits, and then right back to the main menu.
and congratulations, you beat 2 Worlds! Hooray! How do you feel?
Like I wasted 8 hours of my life.
Closer to 12 for me.
Okay, so I'm happy it's over.
Yes.
Would you recommend this game for anybody ever?
Okay, if we're going by the original Peaches scale of good, bad, or game you kind of liked, I kind of like this game.
What's that scale?
The original Peaches, the Flophouse.
Don't worry, it's another podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like...
they do bad movies.
So, at 8 hours, I had this sort of Stockholm Syndrome with the game, where I did like the main character, because all of the side quests and people that you talk to, you don't give a shit about any of them, you're just after your sister.
Mm-hmm.
You tell the main bad guys, you don't give a fuck what they do, you're here to get your sister and then bounce. You're not even trying to stop them, you don't care. There are bits of the game that I really enjoyed. The combining of items, the potion crafting is fucking awesome.
I was going to ask you if you tried any crafting.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't get anything great, but then again, I also didn't spend too much time crafting potions. But the fact that you can and pretty much throw anything into the cauldron to whip something out, fan-goddamn-tastic. It's just, the story is technically there, and I'm a sucker for fantasy, even bad fantasy. And this one was a chore.
So for me, I would never recommend it for someone. On the 360, definitely not on the PC. I can't attest because there were times where parts of the game I liked. The magic system was pretty okay.
Sounds like it.
And the one spell I used a lot was Field of Fire. Creates a field of fire. Mm-hmm. And in its description, it says, set fire to the target location.
Okay.
Let me tell you how well that works when you don't have a cursor.
Uh-huh.
So you just kind of set everything on fire, kind of willy-nilly. So things like that. The way the menus are set up, which is not great and wouldn't be great on the PC, is stone unusable on the 360.
Right.
There's so sometimes things that look like they could be okay. And again, this type of game is right up my alley, but it just falls flat everywhere. I, again, had to turn on cheats just to not get clipped through things at times. The horse is completely unusable and terrible. The NPCs don't work properly half the time. Mm-hmm. It's a mess. And then as you get to the end of the game and it starts crashing hard.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, I've killed too many things without looting them, and it's trying to load too much. I don't know what all its actual issues are behind the coding, but it is not a well-polished game.
I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bit of an understatement.
No, it really is. It's not good. The combat, like, you can swing your sword, but you swing all hackneyed and weird.
It's almost too fluid, if that's even possible. You know, it's not tight enough, a combat for me. Melee combat.
I can see that, yeah. There isn't really a whole lot that you can do melee-wise. I guess I wasn't dodging, so I literally missed out on half of the things that you can do.
Yeah.
In theory, you could block if you had a shield. I have no idea how that works.
I carried a shield. There's no way to actually block. He just does it automatically.
Oh, neat.
Like, there's no block button. It just takes, like, a percentage of the damage off.
Yeah.
Or sometimes an arrow won't hit you.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's more things that are just kind of like pasted on, like the entirety of the story.
I mean, even the characters treat it like it was pasted on.
Yeah, no.
They're riding through the region. She gets kidnapped. You save her. They continue about their business. I mean, they don't have any attachment to these people. You know, like you said, the character, your character doesn't give a fuck about anybody. He wants to recover his sister and go home.
To be fair, the people of the area barely have an attachment to anything. Like, they come and ask you for, like, they give you quests, and they seem like they care about it maybe as much as they care about what's for dinner.
Yeah.
Like...
all right. Is it my turn?
Yeah, give it a whirl.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I mean, I was one of those saps who actually bought this game kind of around the time it came out. I was obsessed with Elder Scrolls 4. I thought this game looked similar. I bought it, and I returned it a couple days later.
Hey, the back of the box says it's better than Oblivion.
It does, which is quite possibly one of the biggest lies I think I've ever told. The PC version, you know, like you mentioned, might be a little bit better, but it still has issues that are going to be there regardless of what machine you're on. It's a miserable experience. I mean, did you ever have fun in this? At any point, would you ever be like, hey, you know, this ain't so bad?
Occasionally, I had bits of fun.
Like, was it based off of the flaws? Like, you know, this is so fucked up, it's hilarious?
Ashios. Yes. Okay. The entirety of Ashios is a fucking riot.
All right. Yeah, I see no reason to ever play this game again.
Yeah, no. The bits of fun I had and the things I liked about the game are done better in other games. Even games from around the time. So, there's no reason to play it. None. Just find a better game.
I mean, there's so many other games that just do it way better.
I still kind of like that.
We gotta play the second one?
I mean, we can. I hear the second one's much better.
I need a break from Two Worlds. It's not going to be the next one. But
no, it's we are now the Two Worlds podcast. Two Worlds cast.
Two Worlds cast.
All
we
right.
cornered the market.
Yes. Your one and only stop for endless Two Worlds talk.
There's got to be one person out there that'll listen to it every time.
Oh man, I feel so bad for them.
It wouldn't be me. So, all right.
Pity subs.
Your mom won't even listen to it. All right, so let's put this behind us then.
Well, for the Bad Game Cast, I'm Jake.
I'm Jason.
And Alex.
Try to sound more excited.
I'm super excited to end the podcast on Two Worlds. We'll revisit Two Worlds, I think, in the future. I want to play that sequel.
Hey, got to get those online plays in.
Speaking of which, you never talked about playing online, did you?
Oh, I mean, I did a little bit.
Yeah.
But we already signed off, so.
We did. You son
Yep,
of a bitch.
it means it's over. You can't talk about Two Worlds anymore.
Start that fucker back up. I hate this fucking game.